What are the pros and cons of solo training versus group training? So today we're talking about group versus solo training. There can be a lot that seems pretty appealing about solo training. Solo grind, you versus you, me, myself and I. It could be pretty epic to think I'm taking on this challenge all by myself. And to be honest, it shows a lot of mental toughness on your part that you can overcome these things all by yourself. But what are the pros and cons of solo training versus group training? Well, if we kick off with group training, group sessions at their core are a pretty social event. Humans are largely social animals, and having people around you tends to make you feel better. A 12-week study compared two sets of people. One set did a lot of solo training and one set did completely group training. Those who trained as part of a group showed significant increases in mental health, physical health, emotional health, and a large reduction of perceived stress compared to their solo counterpart. Performance benefits as well are backed up from stats on Strava. Averaging out over 90 million runs on the platform, it was found that runners in groups run on average about 5 seconds a K, 7 seconds a mile quicker than people out there on the solo grind. They also actually ran remarkably further. So those in groups ran on average 6.3 miles compared to their solo guys who only ran 5. That's about a 1.3 mile increase. But why could this be? Largely could be down to that happiness. We were talking about that increase in emotional health, in mental health as well, and reduction in perceived stress. Well, studies have also found that there is a reduction in perceived pain levels in humans when they're happier. So that reduction in stress and improvement in mental health could be boosting the quality of your runs. Also, having more people out there is gonna keep you accountable. Ever had that voice telling you, Will, it's too hard today, just give up, slow down. No, don't worry, you can do this another day. Don't worry, we can just go hit another session another day, quit. Well, it's a lot harder to succumb to those voices when someone is watching you. When you're training a group of people of a similar ability or slightly better than you, can get a little bit competitive. A little bit of friendly competition can push you those extra couple of % harder than when you're doing it completely alone. This could be because you're focused on other people's pain and not necessarily your own. You're looking around and seeing what other people are doing, and suddenly your mind is being taken away from all the hurt that is going on. Or it could just be an ego thing. You're just big-headed and you don't want to be left behind. There's also an added camaraderie that can pull you through tough times with low motivation. Yeah, we all get those. Furthermore, group sessions and one-to-ones with a coach, as done in Project Run, is far easier to have your questions answered if the coach is physically with you at all times, rather than just relying on a message. Coaches can also feed back to you during a session. I'm suggesting I am a good coach, I'm alright. If we think you're hitting a rep too hard or too easy, then we can feed that back to you. It's all about training smarter rather than training harder. We can make you train well rather than just being good enough. Also, if you're training with your peers, you can learn a lot off them. Injury prevention, training tips, nutritional advice. With time with the sport can come a lot of wisdom sometimes. What about that solo goodness? Sometimes in life you just need a bit of alone time and a bit of time to yourself in your own headspace, and that's what solo training can bring. It can be therapeutic for sure, and is up there with meditation when you really hit that flow. You can just switch off from life for the time that you're out there. You can also go at your own pace. Sometimes when you're running with quicker people, it is all too easy to be dragged along and you end up running far quicker than intended. On those recovery days when you really need to be taking it easy, you could be overworking yourself, and which will lead to overtraining. Next time when you go to hit a session and you've been overtraining before, your legs are going to be far too tired and you're not going to be able to hit that session well. You're going to end up being stuck in a rut, and improvements are going to be hard to come by. Time might also be an issue. We all lead busy lives and we're going to have to try and utilise every waking moment. So being able to just quickly nip out for a run and chuck your shoes on is much easier to be able to fit around your busy lifestyle, and you can spend the time with the people that you love and value most. It can be hard to arrange times and places to run with people, so yeah, sometimes running alone can have its benefits. So what is the conclusion then? Well, a mix of both styles during your week is absolutely fine. If it's going to keep you consistent, then you know what? I'm all for it. As I've stated before, there is a time and a place for alone time. But what I will say is that when you have those A runs during your week, you know, those sessions, or when you're training for longer stuff as well, those long runs, I'd say try and plan days, weeks in advance to be able to make it happen. Failing to prepare and all that. At Project Run, athletes are lucky. They have plenty of opportunities every day to be able to book in with coaches. Try and give them as many tools as possible to be able to make them the best runner that they can be. Anecdotally, I made the most improvements the quickest when I started group training versus solo training. Can't really go half-heartedly when your mates are watching, can you? But you know, what works for you? Let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up and that like button, and as ever, please do subscribe. It will make my day. And I'll leave you with this. Kipchoge did once say, 100% of me is nothing compared to 1% of the whole team. That's teamwork. That's what I value. What a bloke. I'm gonna leave you with that. You know what? I'll catch you in the next one.